One, two, three. This is a DriveArabia exclusive. I am sitting now across Jack Rodencal, who is the managing director of Chrysler, and on a beautiful sunny day we're here at the Power Drive, which is a showcase of the new models that are here from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Fiat even. And firstly, Jack, it's quite an honor to be sitting across someone who has been in the industry for the last 27 years. So we'll start from there. Give us your account of the American motoring industry, particularly from your perspective.
Okay. Well, even to be totally honest, I've been with Chrysler as an employee for 27 years, but I've been involved with Chrysler since day one. My father was a Dodge dealer. My brother a Dodge dealer, and my grandfather started the business back in 1927. So when you talk about motoring heritage, my family exemplifies it and lives it. But for us, it's a, we've gone through a lot of changes in the last 2 years since we exited bankruptcy. A lot of challenges, but what it is you've got a core group of people that have left that really love cars, that really love the car heritage. I mean, you can't do the transformation of the products unless you have it and you have a love and appeal for it. So we look back over, for Jeep, it's been 71 years, and that's really the newest brand that we have in the portfolio. Chrysler started in 1926, Dodge was back in 1914, and then Ram trucks were actually before that even. So we have a long history. We've got some phenomenal vehicles in our history with some great technology and some technology first. So we look at it, especially in the Middle East, where heritage and family is a vital part of the culture and the way that people live. We feel that we really exemplify and live that culture and that life.
Well said, Jack. And touching a bit upon the new models that we've seen, you've got everything from the new Dodge Challenger, Charger. We've seen the Jeep line also showcase some enhancements to the newer lineup. And whilst we were catching up on lunch, you did briefly mention that the new Cherokee's SRT8 model would be something of an eye-opener.
Oh, it's the Grand Cherokee SRT8 with a 6.4-liter Apache engine is amazing. And it especially, when we talk to our customers and the people that consider buying our products, and they look at it, they think of Jeep Grand Cherokee as SRT8 traditionally. And it was a great vehicle. I mean, it really performed. But it was the typical perception of an American muscle vehicle. It went fast in a straight line. What you're going to find now with the SRT vehicles, which are just street racing technology, both the Grand Cherokee, the Charger, the 300, and the Challenger, is there was a much more higher level of refinement. So that not only does it have the power that you'd expect, but the handling. I mean, when you take a Grand Cherokee around a corner and it's like on rails, and you can select the way you want the suspension, the way you want the braking and everything to operate. It's an amazing transformation, and it goes back to, again, from the heritage, because these people love cars, so they set them up, they design them, then they build them the way they've always wanted them. I mean, I know I'm dominating a little bit, but when you look at the Dodge Charger, I mean, it was a great vehicle, but now what they've done with the tail lights and putting the sculpted doors to really evoke the original '69 Charger from which was a two-door, not a four-door. So I mean, we have a passion and a love for cars.
So this affinity that stems from a lineage of car making. My personal take on the matter is that we're seeing a surge in American muscle car revival, and at the forefront are all the cars here that you happen to be showcasing. And what is your personal take on the matter?
There's definitely an affinity and a revival of it. But we take it very seriously, because what we want to do is take the best aspects of it, but apply the latest of technology, safety features, and the highest of standards of quality in the world to make sure that what the customer is getting is a package that meets their expectations within a great value proposition.
And speaking about the end user, since all of the cars out here are catering to individual taste and how should I say, mindsets, from what we have gathered over our brief lunch, is that a lot of it has been taken in from the end user. You were particularly mentioning a team was down here, and statistics constantly keep happening on an annual basis, and everything gets pulled back into the production or the manufacturing stage of all the cars back in the US. So how much of that, say if one were to put a percentage or a number on it, how much of that comes from the end user in terms of feedback or suggestions?
From that standpoint, I'd say 100%, because what we look at we look at this very differently. You know, we don't look in the traditional manners for such things as quality and such things is what the customer wants. What we're discussing is, you know, part of it is we do regular testing, and we're doing more and more and adapting because of our respect and understanding and the importance to the Middle East markets to Chrysler as a company. So that gets fed back through our development process, because we know if it'll work here, it'll work in the United States. But what we did in June and July when we were in doing heat testing is we also brought in a gentleman who does part of our development process. It's called Voice of the Customer. And so what they do is they go into service departments and interview customers and find out what's really important to them. And the gentleman was a Syrian background, fluent in Arabic, so that what we try to do is make sure that he could talk to all the different customers, not just ours, but competitors, get what's important to them, what their underlying motivations are, and so that we make sure that when we're designing the next generation cars, we meet what they're going to expect. Because the tricky part of development is you're not worrying about today. You're trying to figure out what are they going to want, where are they going to be in 5 years. And I mean, it goes back to, again, the customer. I mean, as I said, I grew up in the car business. I remember when a customer would call my father at 2 a.m. and they were broken down on the side of the road. Well, you know, he would have to go out and get them because he's not going to get one of his employees to do it. So he'd get me up, and the two of us would go and we'd bring the customers in, because that's really Chrysler. We think of ourselves as a family. We think of our customers as part of the extended family, and that's the service we want to provide to them. We live that.
I mean, these values are instilled in Chrysler, and we can see them trickle down in all your car lineups. And speaking of the present make that we happen to be sitting in, this happens to be an SRT8 edition, and I am really liking the plush leather and the comfy seats. You've mentioned carbon fiber here. Who was charting the principal design, keeping in mind the aesthetics, the luxury, and the whole overall feel and comfort of the cabin space?
Well, the head of our interior design is a man named Klaus Busse. I mean, he's German, very particular and precise the way Germans are, but a great guy. We had him here in November because he was actually for the motor show here in Dubai, and he also spent a week getting to understand the customers, getting to see it, and understanding what those little pieces are. Because what we've gone from is a reputation of too much hard plastic to where it's almost non-existent. But there's even when you get to something as simple as the vent, the piece that controls it is known as a chiclet. It's very tactile. It has a great feel for it. So everywhere you touch, there should be a pleasant feel. And we take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we don't put this in just our high-end cars. It goes into our pickup trucks and into down to our the very smallest and most economically priced vehicle we do.
So, speaking of demographics, we're looking at the plush interior, the leathers. We're looking at all these funky colors. I mean, there's almost from where my eye can see, there's almost every model that would cater to each and every demographic. Is there a particular focus group that you're seeing stemming into the cars that are being showcased here, and which comes as much of a surprise that the cars are exceptionally good looking and everything, and you're garnering a completely different demographic?
And it is a completely different demographic, and it's a very broad. And I mean, to try to pigeonhole it, it would be very difficult. I'd say that probably one of the more exciting aspects is the fact that we're broadening our range because of our tie-up with Fiat. What we're going to be doing is also managing the business and expanding the business in the Middle East for both Fiat and Alfa Romeo, where we're going to have a premium Italian car, an alternative to the German. I mean, they do very well at it, but they do it in a certain way. We'll do with Alfa Romeo with a little more Italian style, in my opinion. But then with Fiat, you're getting into into compact, subcompact segments with very affordable cars. In fact, we're just launching the new Linea, which starts at under 50,000 dirhams. So I mean, a complete package and a very broad range of demographics. So one of my bosses said, I don't want to sell this car, I want to sell every car.
Yeah, so keeping in mind every car, we are seeing the new Fiat 500, which I presume is doing quite well and is competing with the alternative, which comes from Germany. We don't want to mention names, but it's an exceptionally gorgeous car. It's seen a complete reimagining from the older version. It can seat more people. It's more comfortable. It's kitted with all the kit and caboodle on a technology standpoint, and we've seen some soft top versions of it as well. And
the 500C,
yes,
which is really for the Middle East is an excellent version of a cabrio, because you keep the very, very strong rigid pillars, but at the same time the top will go down and give you open and exposed to on a fine day like today the outside elements. And in as we've announced, the other thing that is going to be very exciting, I've seen it in the styling dome, is the 500L. You may have seen some of the reports calling it the L0, but the 500L will be announced in Geneva. It's taking it and making it a little larger and really giving a 5-passenger fun with a little Italian passion to it.
Well, a little Italian passion goes a long way, especially with an American influence. We've seen what it's done to pizza commercially, so it's good that it's making its way to the motoring industry. From all the cars that we can see in front of us here, what relates to you more as an end user? Like, what do you feel more comfortable or at home with?
We're sitting in it. I'm a Dodge guy. I told you. So Dodge Charger to me, I remember I was very young. My cousin had a 1969 dark green Dodge Charger, and I always thought that was the epitome of a car to have. So I love this car, and it's our most popular model in the Middle East.
It is most certainly indeed the most popular model. And speaking on another note, there happens to be a report or some news shedding light on the local forces here acquiring some of the makes, and you were mentioning that they are being customized to befit the law enforcement agencies out here.
Well, excuse me. That just goes to show you the breadth of the range that we have, because we are talking to from around the Gulf, several of the law enforcement and first responder agencies, because you can not only get a Dodge Charger from with either a 3.6 V with an 8-speed transmission or a V8 Hemi, or the one we're sitting in, the SRT8 with a 6.4 liter Hemi. We also do a police pursuit model, as we call it, which is from the wheels up, designed with various law enforcement agencies to meet the rigorous standards that they have. So we're actively engaged with a variety of law enforcement agencies because we think we have a quite superior product. You're going to get a chance this afternoon to do some hot laps with it on the track and really see what it'll do. But that's where you shows our diversity of engineering to meet the client's requirements.
Speaking of diversity of engineering, since you are privy to much secret information, there is quite a lot bubbling within the pipeline at your end. Is there any technology in particular that you happen to be at the forefront of, and soon we would be seeing that in the upcoming models, and it would be an industry standard from then on?
I'd say, there's two things that I think we do very differently from our competitors, quality being one of them. But the second one is what we call infotainment. Because it's not just radios anymore. It's really how you react with a car, and we have a group that looks at it from a very customer-oriented manner. In other words, instead of trying to say here's the best and this is what you should adapt yourself to, we say the car should use your existing, whether it's your MP3 player, your iPod, or your phone, and mate with it, and then do everything from a natural, intuitive manner. So when you look at our radios, and we're about to take a new leap above these, but I think these are industry standard today, and within the next 12 months you'll see a real generational leap in it. So when you look at it, it's friendly to use, whether it's great for very tech-savvy people, but at the same time for those who are looking for, usage and are not necessarily on the cutting edge of technology. It offers cutting-edge technology that is very, very easily used.
So Jack, in closing, on this fine day, and clearly there's more to come towards the evening, we'll be seeing you on the racetrack. What parting message you want to leave our listenership with to look forward to the upcoming models, or what to expect next?
The only thing I'd ask is this shows my Americanness. As all we want is a fair shot. We'd love to have you come in and see our products. That's why we brought all the press and other customers together, because we really want you to see the breadth of products. We feel we can compete with any other manufacturer.
Jack Rodencal, or affectionately known as Jack from Chrysler, this has most certainly been a pleasure. Thank you from DriveArabia, and see you at the racetrack.
Thank you, DriveArabia, for giving me the opportunity.